Princess Tsunade. Kona has Slug Queen. Slug Princess, you call her. One of the legendary Sani, you name her. Everyone knows her. Legendary 106. Legendary Sucker, you name it. It's my girl Tsunade, and I've seen a lot of persons downplaying her, so I'm just making this video just to let them know how strong she really is, because I don't see why people keep downplaying her, even though she has the feats necessary to put her at that level. Right, so this is just a quick little video of me just going over her feats of what she accomplished. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, Tsunade is well known for her monstrous strength. Being it, she's one of the legendary Sani, it's now as a legendary status as her. Her strength is something that defines her character, as she always needed to be strong, right? So you can see she can clearly just demolish things pretty much easily on a whim without any wind up, right? She's very well known for her strength. That's one of her main ways in attacking people. She can probably one-shot everyone in the burst once she gets a hit in. So as we know, back in part 1, Heaven Kick of Pain did a lot of damage to the ground in that small town they were in, and Tsunade was practically holding back because she really didn't want to like go all out because of where she was in. She knew that she was still in a town, so she needed to hold back. She also knocked out Shizune with using just one swift move and made it out the door before Shizune fell. So she knocked out a top tier medical ninja without her even knowing. And Shizune is also a Jonin, I might add. So Shizune is no slouch. And after healing with the Creation Rebirth technique, after they did their summonings and everything and they started fighting back in part 1, she was able to pick up Gamabunta's sword, which is thousands of times bigger than her and heavier, and she was able to pick it up despite Manda throwing it, and it planted into the ground, so she had to pick it up out of the ground because it wasn't just laying there. She had to pick it up because it was stubbed into the ground and then slammed it back into the ground to close Manda's mouth. So what's there to hide how legendary her strength is? Also, just to mention, when she was fighting Kabuto back in part 1 as well, when they had their brief interaction, Kabuto, when he did the hand signs for the chakra scalpel and took the food pill to further enhance his abilities, after he went underground to try to like surprise attack Tsunade, she actually reacted to him. Just shows how good she's at evading, right? Also, after dodging him, she tried to counterattack, which he dodged himself, and then she tried to pursue him. When she was airborne and Kabuto ducked under her attack, and she smashed through the rock, and then she jumped off she did a backflip off the other rock to go back to him. He used a body flicker, and she did react because her eyes turned and saw that he was behind him, and then he touched her with the chakra scalpel, which tore her muscles, and then even then she was still able to do a counterattack. Also, just another small feat from part 1, Orochimaru tried to restrict Tsunade by wrapping his tongue around her and then tried to stab her with his sword in his mouth. Tsunade was so quick to react that she used her legs to stop him from stabbing her, and also used the momentum to swing her around to get out of Orochimaru's tongue grip. I don't know what else to show you guys at how skilled she is at like just body movements, like physical movements and those things. She's crazy. Also, just to talk about Katsuyu for a bit as well, back in part 1, Katsuyu's acid was able to dissolve rock instantly upon coming into contact with it. Manda had to dodge or he would have literally died, right? Now, I recently had a debate with another Naruto debater or YouTuber, whatever you guys want to call it, and he was saying that Manda 2 defeats Katsuyu, and I'm like, there's literally no summon in the verse that can beat Katsuyu, none. No summon. He's saying the snake can just grapple her, restrict her movements. And I'm like, Yeah, like that didn't happen back in part one, and she just burst into a million clones of herself and just reform. And then even in part two, she can literally just liquefy herself. Like I'm like, okay. So this is why there's downplaying Tsunade and Katsuyu. I just added this as a joke because it's from a filler episode, but it was really funny. It's really just showing how destructive Katsuyu can actually be if she really tries. Like, she can literally just melt forests in like seconds if she really wants to. She can just make unlimited amount of acid and just she just can just keep spewing the acid, and she can spread up to further even cover more ground. So it's like, yeah. Now still in Katsuyu, but just going to part 2 of Naruto Shippuden. So we all know Tsunade can transfer her chakra through Katsuyu as well as her medical ninjutsu. So it's safe to say Tsunade can also transfer offensive techniques through Katsuyu as well, being her chakra enhanced attacks. She should be able to do it just like medical ninjutsu. Because chakra enhanced strength is an application of medical ninjutsu. So for example, let's say Katsuyu splits up and latches onto someone, right? She splits up into 10 small pieces and latches onto someone. Then it just sends her chakra through Katsuyu, and just all those hits are gonna be chakra enhanced attacks that are being transferred from Tsunade through Katsuyu. So it's safe to say she can do that. She can also transfer offensive medical ninjutsu through Katsuyu as well. Also, I might add, Katsuyu is very versatile in the sense that she can attack, defend, and heal all at the same time. So in part 2 of Naruto, when Pain destroyed the village, a feat that some persons didn't realize, and I thought more persons would have actually pointed it out, was that Tsunade released Creation Rebirth through Katsuyu. It's not like she just used regular medical ninjutsu like she was doing on top of the rooftop. No, the Anbu member who was protecting her literally stated that she released her Creation Rebirth, because the only time we see Tsunade's seal be undone or it's just disappeared for good is whenever she releases the seal. So she had to use the seal, one of her healing techniques. Creation Rebirth was the one that she used because the seal completely disappeared. She used that and released it through Katsuyu to heal the villagers through whatever happened, because she knew Katsuyu would be fine. But what happened to the villagers inside of Katsuyu, because the Katsuyu clones, yes, they're about two to three times bigger than the villagers, but they still are getting flung around onto stuff. So yeah, not off the Katsuyu one train as yet, because Orochimaru further even hypes up Katsuyu, saying that she can actually one-shot him with her acid. Now that's crazy, because Orochimaru, we all know that he can split his body apart and just evade the attack once some part of him is alive or left alive, but Katsuyu's acid vaporizes you so instantly that he can't do that. So it's crazy. Just to add as well, Katsuyu and Tsunade share a telepathic link through the Byakugo seal, which even Orochimaru didn't understand how it worked, because he said when he found Tsunade in the condition she was in after the matter of fight, he said he has never seen her this weak and wonders if that's how the system always used to work. Which would also prove that Tsunade had the Byakugo seal all the way back in the war, in the Second Great Ninja War, but Orochimaru just didn't know about it. She has a more developed version now, but she did have the Byakugo seal back in the Second War arc, because it is a requirement for you to summon Katsuyu, because Sakura wasn't able to summon Katsuyu until she got the seal. Shizune, who was under Tsunade for all those years, she didn't summon Katsuyu at all. Ino can't summon Katsuyu. The Byakugo seal is a requirement because Katsuyu herself literally states she's directly linked to the seal. Oh, just to add as well, this telepathic link that the Byakugo user shares with Katsuyu, it doesn't matter how much of a distance there is. So For example, if Tsunade is in another whole dimension, millions of miles apart, billions of miles apart, she can still communicate with Katsuyu through the seal. It doesn't matter how far apart they are, just like with. And Katsuyu also has a hive mind mechanic going on where she, just like in the war arc when Tsunade summoned a section of Katsuyu and Sakura summoned a section of Katsuyu, Katsuyu was still able to tap in to the section of herself that Sakura summoned to see what was going on the battlefield and report it back to Tsunade. As well as when Gaara was transporting them onto the battlefield, Katsuyu did it again and know what was happening when they saw the god tree being formed. So it doesn't matter the distance, and it doesn't matter who summons Katsuyu. If Katsuyu is somewhere else and the user wants to know, she can just tap in and yeah, it works two ways. Katsuyu also does have the ability to suffocate people, as we saw with Sakura and Ino when she absorbed them to protect them from the attacks. They were both heavily panting and breathing heavily, abnormally, right? So she can cut off your air supply if she absorbs you into her body. And maybe her body works like a semi-permeable membrane or a selectively permeable membrane, where she only lets you out unless she wants to let you out. So there's that too. So she can literally just absorb people into her body and just let them suffocate. So Katsuyu is so freaking versatile, like, oh my gosh. Now I think this is the last ability I have to say about Katsuyu because we haven't seen anything else. She does have the ability to liquefy herself into just bodily fluids and increase her surface area. So Tsunade and Sakura, but this is an amped Sakura with the Kyuubi chakra, while Tsunade was a bit low on chakra because she just recovered from literally being bisected and everything. But both of them combined were able to summon a tenth of Katsuyu's actual body from Shikotsu woods. Oh, and something I forgot to mention as well. I'm probably not going to mention this. I'm going to make another video about Katsuyu specifically, about facts you didn't know about her. So I'm going to save that one for later. Yeah, so her and Sakura was able to summon a tenth of Katsuyu's body, and it was just massive. It was able to fill the gap between the roots of the god tree, and she just basically liquefied herself into bodily fluids and increased her surface area so people could just get healed just by simply standing on her. And she was so massive that she was dwarfing full Kyuubi chakra mode, full Kurama avatar mode, Naruto and Susanoo Sasuke. She was literally just dwarfing over them. Tsunade's feats against Madara is where she shines the most. Now hear me out. Upon releasing the 100 healings and taking the lead as the main attacker, the main frontliner now out of the 5 Kage, because she was just supplying them with chakra and healing them beforehand, right? Tsunade goes in on Madara and he defends with his Ribcage Susanoo. Now this Ribcage Susanoo got completely demolished. One hit from Tsunade broke it. Yes, crack and broke means the same thing. She broke it, but she didn't break it apart fully. She was able to break it with just one hit, but it didn't break apart fully. The Raikage, after the Mizukage, did a water pillar jutsu to extinguish Madara's, I guess, fire style, or I think it was Majestic Flame, something like that. After the Mizukage extinguished his fire style, she converted into a water dragon, which sent him up into the Raikage, who's been amped by Onoki, right? And he was able to crack the back part of Susanoo, and then Tsunade followed up immediately with a kick to just completely demolish the whole thing. And not only did she break it apart, but she also, the force of her kick was so strong that it broke apart the front and the back. She just demolished the entire thing basically, right? Then the force, she sent him down, crashed into the ground, and he went through several layers, several tree roots, those gigantic tree roots that you're seeing. he went through several of those before crashing into the meteor that he summoned earlier on and cracked it as well. That's how cracked Tsunade's strength is. That's how ridiculous her strength is. Next up, Tsunade was able to hit the real Madara, which means she overcame the precog of the Sharingan, which means she's fast enough to beat Sharingan users, which people keep saying, oh, but Tsunade is slow, she'll never hit this person, she'll never hit that. But yet she has punched everyone she has fought. She punched Madara, attempting to dodge her punch, which means they had a brief taijutsu scuffle and she bested him at taijutsu. Madara, who was literally downplaying everyone and just saying no one can compare to Hashirama and everything. Tsunade literally blows him apart for trying to contest her in taijutsu. And it's safe to say she did it on her own because all the other Kages were literally just watching her take the lead. They were all at a safe distance just watching her take the lead and pressure Madara. She literally punched him so hard like his entire torso got blown apart. And if Madara were alive and he didn't have Hashirama cells and just Madara, the Madara that fought Hashirama at the Valley of the End, he literally would have just died right there. Literally just died. Oh, I forgot to mention this upon going into the Madara fight. Tsunade and A arrived to the battlefield using the ethereal transmission jutsu or the heavenly transfer jutsu, right? Which I don't remember the lady's name, but the user of the jutsu told Tsunade that she couldn't survive it, yet she tanked it literally in base while the Raikage needed his chakra shroud and his genetics to tank it. And Tsunade tanked it in base and she was still able, despite her muscles and everything on the inside being torn, she was still able to kick Madara with enough force to force him back that would literally cause him to block. And if her muscles weren't torn, I'm pretty sure Madara's arms would be like blown apart or something, and he had to regenerate via Edo Tensei. While the Raikage got a clean hit in on, I think it's Mu, that's the second Hokage, that's his name. The second Shishikage, sorry, not Hokage. And nothing literally happened to Mu. So that's how the strength difference between these two are. And afterwards, of course, she healed from the damage afterwards. It's not during before, it's not during or before. She healed after landing on the battlefield. So the seal was not active until she landed and then she healed. Yeah, I backtracked a bit right there because I just remembered about that feat. So anyways, back to the latter part of the fight. So after Tsunade punches Madara and blows his torso like half off, Gaara attempts to seal him and he substitutes for a wood clone, right? Now, here's the thing. Madara was literally spamming substitution due to, like, you know, like when you're playing one of those Naruto games and your sub bar runs out and you're waiting for it and your opponent is like comboing you to death and you're waiting for at least one of the bars to pull it back and you're just mashing RB or LB, I don't remember which button it is. That's what Madara was literally doing. Just mashing substitution. As soon as his Edo Tensei body regened back to a whole unit, he just smashed substitution. That's how he was able to get up. Now, upon doing the substitution for the wood clone, he further went to stab Tsunade, which was a shock to her because everyone thought he was sealed, right? So he stabbed Tsunade. However, Tsunade retaliated by doing a karate chop to break the Susanoo sword. Now the Susanoo sword is more durable than the armor because the sword does more damage than what the armor could ever do, right? Now she breaks the sword in one hit, one clean chop, pushes the sword back through the opening that the sword created and catches the sword in the same second and tries to pierce Madara with his own attack, which that didn't work because Madara said he can't use his own jutsu to attack him back, in this case being the Susanoo sword. Madara then retaliated by using his Magatama beads to send Blast Tsunade away back into some pile of rocks, Well, that didn't really do anything to Tsunade because we've seen Tsunade survive even worse than that, right? So she just got up with just the sword wound, still with just the sword wound, and that just healed instantly thanks to 100 healings. So I don't understand how people really downplay Tsunade. It's literally right in front of your faces, and people just still downplay her for some strange reason. Now, after being cornered in a 5-to-1 ratio, Madara retaliates by creating 25 wood clones, right? And then makes all 25 of them use full body Susanoo. Now, so another feat that I don't see most persons highlight with Tsunade is that she actually took out 3 out of her 5 of the 25 Susanoo's, right? Because each Kage took on 5. No other Kage were doing nowhere as good as Tsunade. The Raikage could only defend himself. Anoki wasn't doing anything. I don't know if he was trying to weigh them down or something. Mei got punched in the face. Gar could only also defend. Tsunade, however, was still attacking them and doing damage to the armor. She did crack the... I think it's the back... Yeah, she cracked the backside of the full body Susanoo with 1 punch as well. And she broke apart. She had 2 swords stuck between her torso, right? Crisscross, like an X. That means she had to break those swords from two other Susanoo's piercing her, right? What happened to those Susanoo's? It happened off screen, so it's safe to say she took care of those 2 before taking care of this one that was shown on screen. That's another feat I've not seen anyone acknowledge for Tsunade. Those 2 swords indicated that she had to break the 2 swords that were that were pushed into her, right? Stabbed into her, pushed into her, whatever. She broke them. I'm guessing she did 2 karate chops or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But that seems the way she deals with sword, karate chops them and just breaks them in half. So she broke those apart, and then God who knows what she ever did with the Susanoo's because it was off screen. And I saved this feat specifically for last because a lot of persons like to say Tsunade can't fight persons who have long range ninjutsu. They're just gonna keep her at bay. She doesn't have any elemental jutsu going for herself. And I'm like, she can literally just punch them apart, right? She can literally just erupt the ground and disrupt their footing. She has so many ways. She can just literally dodge it, like, and run up closer to them, right? So when Madara got released, his soul has been released from the Edo Tensei to go back to the Imperial Land, or I don't know where their souls go. But yeah, after Itachi released the jutsu and everything, Madara decided to release a final attack with his fire style jutsu. This fire style jutsu, however, is different from the other ones we've seen, which take a more wave-like appearance, like how fire like swooshes and everything like that. This one, however, took the form of dragons, which means, and it took longer for him to spit it out too, which means it's more concentrated, which means you're hotter, or they're pressurized, which also means you're hotter. And seeing that they took form, I'm gonna say it's kind of both, because we've never seen that before, right? It's normally a fireball, some firewall, or a wave like fire. We've never seen fire take the form of a dragon or something like that. Now, the Mizukage tried to extinguish the flames, however, she knew that her water style jutsu wouldn't make it in time, as she even pointed it out for us to see and hear it. Guess who just jumped in and batted away all 5 concentrated and pressurized fire dragon flames towards the Fab Kage? Tsunade. The Raikage couldn't do it, and he's faster, yes, but he doesn't have better reaction speeds. He doesn't have better reaction time than Tsunade. I believe she actually uses her lightning chakra to amp her reaction speed. Her reaction speed, to be honest, because that sounds like something she actually does. She would actually do. So she literally just bats it away using a chakra emission, like a chakra shroud technique, and then just heals from the damage afterwards. And I specifically saved this one for last because people are like, Tsunade can't fight persons who have long-range ninjutsu. They're just gonna keep her at bay, yada yada, when she can literally just punch them apart. Or she can just catch them and throw them back at you. Literally like what Sakura does. And seeing that she can literally swat it apart, she can just literally hit it back at you. So it's like a reflector. And with her strength being amped behind it, it's gonna come back to you so quick you're not even gonna get time to react to it. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about Tsunade. I mentioned her greatest feats in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about what I said. Sound on the comments. I'm gonna make another video on Katsuyu. You guys are gonna love the Katsuyu video. Everyone loves Katsuyu, like come on. So yeah, this is me and I'm signing out.